Looks like David's on a flight somewhere.
Hey guys, good to see you. Maybe I get a nomination for most dedicated.
Awesome.
And with that, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. Thanks for being here again with us. It's Wednesday, time for Light 'em Up. We even have dedicated folks like David joining us live from an airplane, if I'm not mistaken, and Adrian joining us from what looks like a comfortable beautiful cigar lounge, and I'm curious as to where Adrian is joining us from. But before we get things rolling, welcome to everybody joining us on the Facebook live stream as well. As always, guys, if you have questions, please chime in, make yourselves heard, and we'll happily forward your thoughts and your questions to our guest of honor, who this week is the one and only Adrian Acosta, founder of the Cigar Culture, seasoned industry veteran and professional, in charge of a few eclectic and beautiful brands in parts of the United States. We'll talk about all this, the men behind the Cigar Culture blend. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Without further ado, here is Adrian Acosta. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to Light 'em Up, brother.
Thank you so much for the invite, Reinhard. For me, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
It's great to have you, man. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy to have you with us. Where are you joining us from? What's the cigar lounge you're at?
I'm working right now. I'm working in today. I'm a broker, so I'm all around. So I'm in Jacksonville in Second Wind Cigars. Beautiful place. If you guys can tour in Jacksonville, please stop by.
Beautiful. Well, Adrian, there's plenty of stuff to talk about when it comes to your journey with cigars and all the different things that you've been working on, that you've been cooking up. The interesting part is your family background is tobacco. So you sort of grew up with tobacco in your blood and in your DNA. However, you weren't so sure about entering the industry in the first place. Yet here we are, a couple moons later, and we're talking cigars. How come?
So yeah, come from a tobacco family. My dad is a agronomist engineer, specialized in genetics of tobacco. And I grew up seeing a lot of leaves and a lot of seeds of tobacco, a lot of fields, manufacturers, and Dominican Republic. So that's where I caught the attention on cigars and started seeing a lot of blendings and seeing a lot of different tobaccos from all around the world. So it caught my attention, but I was not really sure. I was young, teenager. I was said I was 19, 20, and to I don't know in what capacity to join the industry. So I always loved sales, and that was my gravitation. Pretty sure if you grow up with a dad, which is a lawyer or engineer, you see a lot of paperwork. In my case, I see a lot of tobacco, a lot of seeds, and all the conversation and the camaraderie in the industry, different manufacturers, different families, and it caught my attention. And then I discovered that sales is my forte, so I joined forces in the industry on that.
Now, as I said, a couple moons later, you're still such a young gentleman, and rocking and rolling. You have your own brokerage. You have a couple of cigars with your name on it. Tell us a little bit about your first steps in the industry. You worked for a very reputable manufacturer, representing, I believe it was AJ Fernandez, right? But what were some of your steps that you took in the industry that brought you to where you are now?
So I started working in Nashville back in 2012, I believe, and I started working as a sales in the sales team in Sherman in the townhouse in New York, and it was really great, great experience, great folks to learn with. I mean, this is kind of university that we call as an inside joke. I work with a great tobacconist there, great friends, great family. And then I spent a lot of years working in there, and getting my feet wet and how to build clientele and how to serve the best way with cigars, giving the best education. And then I got an opportunity and I worked for 1 year, I believe so, for Nick Fernandez. Great experience, great guy to work with, great guy to learn, great family. And then I opened my brokerage chapter in 2018.
Reinhard, you're on mute.
Well, rookie mistake. Jesus Christ. I was just saying, Adrian, that the brokerage is something that I find very interesting because we don't really discuss it often at the show here and even in the industry. You know, we always host and feature the brand owners, the master blenders, retailers, sometimes media professionals, and then you have the guys like yourself who work as independent brokers, which is something that you see more of in the United States compared to the international markets, where typically it's sort of a more traditional import distribution setup. But talk a little bit about your firsthand experiences working in the field, and working with different retailers as a broker, independently, though, with a great portfolio of brands. There's challenges and pluses to it, as with everything, you know, pros and cons. But why did you decide to go out on your own and start brokering cigars to begin with? And where do you see the more challenging aspects of that side of the industry?
I believe in challenges. I believe that everything in life is a challenge. And I made the decision to work as a solely independent broker to represent brands that I really that I believe and I feel that they have a great structure. And I start repping because one of the biggest experience that I have is working with brokerage as a sales director was with brokers, with good brokers. And it actually caught my attention that I was working for 10 years, I was working two jobs. No time for the family. I miss a lot of birthdays, a lot of things, great things. Um, and then I finally decided to open my brokerage because of that, to serve it with the right act for uh, retailers, and to serve the brands as the great structure with a plan or with a goal, what I believe. Uh, and that's how I decided to become a broker. I don't have a lot of brands, but the brands that I have is actually the brands that I really believe. I know the people behind. I know the heart of the brands. So that's my bread and butter.
When it comes to selecting the brands that you want to work with, how do you approach that? Or is it mostly that brands approach you now that you have a name in the industry and you have established all those relationships? I'm sure there's plenty of brands eager to get somebody like yourself to work with them and to represent them. But how do you pick and choose the people in the companies that you want to work with?
Um, you put me on the spot. Um, it's really first thing I have to believe in the product. Product has to be outstanding, has to be great standards of quality control, great people behind, great story, legit story. It has to be all the above. It's a combination of the above. I really cannot represent a thing that I don't believe. It's really hard to sell a product you don't believe. So that's why I kind of like I approach them or they approach me or I don't carry a brand just to carry it. If I don't see any potential growth or any potential like future, I don't want to do that to them or they don't want to do that to me as well. But it has to be with a magical thing that I have to believe. I have to believe in the people behind.
I guess it's a tough question to ask, but on that note, do you think that above and above everything else, it's the product that ultimately makes the success story. Or to put it differently, how much can you sort of make up with the story, the personality, when the product is average, let's put it that way, but then you have outstanding people and you have an outstanding story behind it? Or would you rather say sort of it's the other way around, also for you personally?
Personally, I think it's a balance of great product, great people, great story, and also have the relationship in the market with the retailers that I used to my extended family. With the relationship, they believe that if I carry something, then they support me with that and they support the brand. I think it's a really it's a combination of both.
That's a great point. So talk a little bit about the brands that you currently represent, if you want to, and how those relationships came about.
So with for example, with Matilda, I carry Matilda cigars from Mexico City. Has great family. Um, I mean, his dad was one of the pioneers in tobacco in Dominican Republic back in the days. They created this beautiful brand. He's been commemorating 10 years in the business since 2014, mainly boutique. And I really get along with the story, get along with the Enrique, and I want the best for that brand. Follow with Aventura. Aventura from Henderson. Aventura is a great brand. I know Henderson for a long time. That's a great story from us. Back in maybe 2007, he was a young guy. He was helping his dad. I was in the factory, and we clicked the moment that he see each other. And his dad, back in the day, he said, "Oh, you guys gonna work together at one point." I said, "In what capacity?" I was not even in the industry. And I said, "No, you guys work together." And that's one story. I have United Cigars with Select Tobacco as well. I have a great relationship with Brady Garofalo. We're older than we are. Um, I always choose people that I believe that I'm going to learn something as well. It's not only just to sell cigars and represent them and represent them in the best way. I have to believe in the whole vision. I have as well HBC cigar from William Lorenzo, a great guy. I attended New York his first event in 2015, and after that, I said, "Oh my God, what a great brand!" And years later, we started working together. Um, also, I have Blackbird Cigars, Blackbird Trading. It's all the people behind that make me believe that they have a great product and they have a great vision and great business, marketing, uh, the face of the brands, all the above include that decision to me that to create a great ambient to work with this company and many others that I work with.
Well, you mentioned the word marketing on the brand side, right? And the challenging part, and of course, it also has certain benefits, but the difficult aspect as a broker is you basically take the product, the presentation, the marketing, the communication that's already there from the brand side, and the retailers might have a certain relationship with the brand already or don't know about it at all, and then you have to convey that story and communicate as the middleman in the positive sense, and get all these messages across. Yet so much also comes down to your own personality and the reputation that you have, the connection that you forge with those retailers, and it very much relies on your direct relationship with them as well. um, how do you manage that? You mentioned the word balance before as well, which I think is very important there. But yeah, it has to be a natural fit on the one hand, but you also have that you have to find that very thin line and that beautiful balance, right?
You're absolutely right. Is the balance? It has to be there. One thing that I cannot lie about is about cigars. If you love one cigar for my brands and you really eager to get the cigars in your shop, and I tell you straight up, I don't think this cigar will work in your shop. I think you may focus on another cigar because of your demographic, your price points, et cetera. And they appreciate that. I think honesty is a main key for me when it came to suggest a cigar for different retailers. I think another thing is the quality of the cigars or what that brand is doing for that brand so they can be success on shop.
Well, one aspect that certainly helps, Riot put a great comment here in the chat box where he said you were one of the first ultra friendly faces that he met in the industry, and you are such a naturally charming person, and you have a lot of charisma that I still remember the first time when we met, and it's like you meet Adrian and the sun rises and you can't help but be in a good mood yourself. And that's such a crucial aspect, especially when you're on the road and when you deal with people face to face all the time. So, as a matter of consequence, you are a beautiful embodiment and a true advocate and an ambassador to the cigar culture. And it's for a reason that you called your movement, your platform, the cigar culture as well. When did that idea come to mind, or when did you start framing this platform or this community and movement into what it eventually became as of today?
That's a really nice question. Thank you for the compliment on the charming part away from that. But I think that's my original persona. My personality is like that. I don't think, like again, I believe in challenges. I'm another human being with a lot of struggles, but I think a great face, great smile can fix a lot of great moods when you're meeting somebody that's doing better or downgrading than you. I think a smile can change a lot. I think the right approach. I'm trying to be legit on my personality. If you see me not smiling because I'm stressed, not sad. If you see me smiling because that's my personality. Um, I think the cigar culture. I was sitting down for 5, 6 years. I gone to these different places in New York City, New Jersey, other places in the country, South Florida, Texas, PA, New England, and I always find a cigar, the cigar that I love, and sit in the corner. And back in before Google, before Facebook, before Instagram, um, it was a necessity that I created. Man, there's a lot of misinformation in our industry. We have beautiful products, we have beautiful cigars, but there's a lot of misinformation. People need to know a little bit more about cigars and the making and what the cigar have and the structure and the fillers, binding, wrappers, and the people behind. People, I got friends that's been talking for 25 years, 30 years, and they don't know who making that cigar, but they know the product. And so I take the chance to create a name to respect the cigar culture as a name, but to give them the right information to the people, not my right information, just the right access that I have on the industry, to give it to those who don't know that much as an industry, but they're cigar lovers. And I think personally the information that cigar enthusiastic has into the brand, more loyalty they create to a brand that and that's one of the first things that I say. You know what? Let me create something that is not to take out from anybody, but just to add into the industry. And that's why I'm creating the name Cigar Culture.
How did the idea change or transform from when you actually started and how the platform was set up to what it eventually became? Did you see any major changes, or did you feel like, well, this is growing into something, we need to evolve this a little further, we need to take a different approach in how we handle this?
So everything started back as education, doing private events, doing boats, cruising, parties, and education in different shops, different retailers, and then changed because the challenges that we have on social media, into tobacco products in the U.S. or different parts of the world are really really limited. So everything changed from being accepted to being not accepted because of the platform anti-tobacco type
Mhm.
of thing. And then it changed from a what you call a influencer with education. It transformed to a reality that everybody has an Instagram and posting pictures. And then from posting pictures, it translates into videos. And then from posting pictures, where you go from there to direct consumers to shop. And that's where my transition and my profession changed from being a sales guy and then being a personality in a company and then being a broker. And then from being a broker, I able to maneuver my platform to just expose the cigars that I represent. Now, all the cigars that I love are cigars that I enjoy at the moment. So, business perspective is my profession. The cigar culture page is another thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I live. I put bread and butter or milk in my table for my family because of the cigar culture page.
Well, at the same time, though, it's so crucially important because it helps the entire industry, and as we always say, rising tide lifts all boats, right? And we need more in the cigar industry of, I would say, platforms that bring people together, offer education in a very informative but also um, entertaining way, right? Because we see it all over that people's attention span is somewhat shortening. It's it's tough to reach people with long format content, with a lot of long format written blog posts. Yet there is such a hunger and thirst, such a yearning for proper information and for education in the industry. And the challenge is truly, how do we make these ends meet, and how can we offer something to the cigar aficionados out there, um, which they will enjoy and consume, and which ultimately helps the industry to grow and evolve. What do you think we can do better as an industry to offer more of these platforms, or to offer better education to the people out there? And we sometimes hear on the show, especially we discuss the analogy of the wine industry, for example, right? And it's always difficult to compare apples and pears, but you see there's so much more in the wine industry when it comes to educational platforms, books, movies, you name it. It's out there, and the cigar industry is somewhat behind on all of this when it comes to offering that.
It's a really good question. Every time that I jump into what a new guy that is in the sales force in the tobacco retailer, I always invite him to learn, to read about books about the industry. A great book is the Tobacconist Handbook. That's a classic. But I urge him as well because of times are changing, and the times are changing for, I think it's for good. I think we live in a good era of cigars. A lot of manufacturers have great cigars, beautiful cigars, great structure. But I think it's more information they get, more is better for us as an industry. I think they need to go get. I mean, majority of the cigar makers are really accessible. So it's your fault if you don't investigate or trying to reach a manufacturer or a personality in the industry. More information you get, more stronger you get, more as an industry you get. Uh, I believe on get the right information so you can express that to the people that know that their hobby is to enjoy cigars. Or they're enthusiastic for cigar brands, so they're fascinated on the story of the brand. I believe that more accessibility you have to grocery to those manufacturers to know the story behind, more powerful.
Adrian, you had a bit of a robot voice, so I don't know if it was just your microphone or the connection. We'll see if it picks back up again. But on what you just mentioned, all of which I completely agree with, and I truly love. The other aspect, I think, is that on shows like ours here, we have the inner circle of hardcore geeks and people who want to know it all, who want to take a deep dive on information, education. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a rather small portion of the overall cigar community. And I think one of the challenges is to think about how can we widen that circle, and how can we invite more people to be part of that geeky inner circle club, or do you think it's just the nature of any market and any product that you have a few dedicated geeks and then the rest is a regular consumer, and no criticism at all. It's great that we have all these dedicated cigar folks enjoying cigars and probably don't care too much about all the magazines and the blogs and the videos and the light 'em up live shows, and it's all nice and dandy. But how do you think we can probably widen that circle a little bit and invite more people to come in?
It's changing. It's changing for good. I think you see more wine guys than before. You have more spirit guys. I don't mention all the spirits, but we have more spirit guys come to our circle and trying to learn about these craftsmanship.
Adrian, sorry, just a second. Sorry if I bother you. It's still a bit robotic, your voice. Why don't you try and briefly reconnect either your headphones or you just jump back on the call, and then hopefully the audio will be better. I think it's still the same, at least on my end. No, I think we're still on robo mode. Just reconnect on the Zoom, and we'll have you back in a second, Adrian. So we'll just wait for Adrian to reconnect, and he'll be back in a second. In the meantime, thanks everybody for joining us again. Everybody watching us on Facebook. For those of you who joined a bit later, please chime in if you have questions. If you have any thoughts for Adrian, put them in the chat box underneath the live stream, and I'll happily forward them to Adrian, who will be back with us here in a second. In the meantime, any audience questions or any thoughts on what we've heard so far? And if not, then we'll ask Dejan briefly about his experience at the Big Smoke in Austria, which just happened last weekend and was a great success, great event put up by the one and only Johann Hans Gallet, importer and distributor of premium cigars in Austria. And we had a fully booked 120 odd people. Fantastic weekend at the Big Smoke Austria with the barbecue world champion Adi Matzek, a couple of spirits brands, wine brands, and a beautiful program. So it was really delightful. Dejan, what did you think?
I think it was an awesome event. I hope we do it again next year. I'm sorry I missed it last year. So
you're hooked now. There's no turning back.
Meeting all the people, that's the whole point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more with you, man. Adrian is back.
How about now?
Oh, that's much better.
Much better?
Oh, yeah.
Give me 1 second.
A million bucks better, man.
All right, much better now.
Yeah, well, perfect.
All right, so what we standing?
We were just talking about widening the circle a little more and welcoming some of the less geeky folks into the inner circle of the industry and spreading education a bit further.
More networking you have as a
Oh, Adrian, I think we just lost your audio completely now. I can't hear you anymore. Nope, you're not muted, but I can't hear you.
All right. How about
Yeah.
I think more intercircles you have on the in the networking side, and you invite more people as a naturally to enjoy this craftsman, to enjoy this culture, to enjoy this tradition, uh, the respect that people to share with people, is naturally will come back to you as an industry. I think that the crucial thing is to get there, to expose yourself, to talk about your brands, to talk about your family, to talk about how difficult it is. Everybody talk about the beautiful things, but when you expose the struggles, when you expose everything about your branding, is easier to get people attract to us. I think we become bigger as an industry.
I couldn't agree more with that. And I think it also very much ties in what we discussed earlier about the brokerage, where your job is to build bridges, to open those opportunities, and to speak both to the cigar retailers, give them more insights into the brand, offer them education wherever feasible, and of course also go directly to the end consumer. Um, how do you, or maybe another challenging question, but when you work with or for certain brands, and you have the retailers on the receiving end of all the information, then another step to the end consumer. Um, what are some of the best practices that you have seen on the retail end when the retailers are doing a great job of treating their customers like royalty, offering that experience really, and what would you say are some of the crucial experiential components that make an extremely successful tobacconist or a lounge, and the people who do it right, treating their customers so that they are happy to be part of the community and the
I
culture?
think the best scenario would be the opportunity to open the doors to the people like us to express the cigar culture for their consumers, for their clients. I think that's the best opportunity we can have, so we can interact with people. I think that's the biggest thing, to do events, um, to go over and over the same thing, and to catch the niche, not to sell a cigar. It's about the people, to get a connection with the people. So it's all about to give you the opportunity for the brands to expose their cigars. Anybody can sell cigars, but to get the connection with the people, that's key. That's my biggest straight to the point thing.
When it comes to certain aspects that you can easily work on that are not personality related though, how do you train the retailers? How do you offer them gentle feedback on what they're probably doing, where you see possible improvements, or where you can probably recommend slight changes for them to have a more thriving business? Um, what are some of the little tweaks that could be easy fixes for a lot of people out there
I believe on basing on your experience, trying to identify what your problems are, trying to see the demographic that you're facing, see what people are looking for. When you have somebody that's looking for a specific product and you don't have it because XYA, you need to offer in something similar. And the question would be, how do you know it's the same? I said, well,
Mm.
it's not the same brand, but it has the same component of the tobaccos. Maybe a little stronger, maybe a little lighter, but it's the same. You will like it. So when you have that confidence, I mean, like that confident on you as a tobacconist, they believe in you. They believe on suggestions. Remember, it's not about cigars anymore. It's about the whole thing behind cigars, which is better. It's the people, it's the great retailers, the great consumers out there, great stories. It's 1 hour of your time. Spend it wisely.
On that note, do you think that one of the responsibilities and one of the crucial aspects of being a broker is also to almost act like a mirror towards the retailers and offer them an outside perspective? Me having worked as a consultant for five-star hospitality and luxury brands, I always saw the big value in somebody from the outside coming in, exploring and examining your business, and then very gently and most respectfully, of course, offering feedback as to just what it is that you are experiencing, and with that, maybe helping them improve little aspects here and there, so they can learn both.
Yeah, it's it's all about how you engage the people. You cannot teach that. You cannot really. Uh, it's come on you. That's why we have professional in the business as to do these kind of things, to how to read the people. It's a one-on-one on selling. You need to identify your environment. You need to identify who you're facing. Who maybe some guy that going to a shop don't want to be bothered or hear any suggestions, but you ask him, hey, how was your vacation? How was your birthday? How was your anniversary? How was your daughter's wedding? And you go from there. Like you need to read the room, and when you read the room, you need to pick your battles. Maybe that day is not to sell what you want to sell; it's just to give him the right experience to the guy.
Is your relationship to the retailer similar to that? Like, do you think about your relationship to the retailer the same way that the retailer would look at his customer?
Yes, 100%. 100% agree. It's the same way. It's all. It's end of the day, it's all family. It's a family thing. So you need to get the trust, but most importantly, you need to get the right environment for them so they can believe in you. That's I believe in that. And always honor your deal. Like don't say one thing today and then you in the next in bad mood the next day. You need to be really constant on your experiences or your shop.
Absolutely. Um, Over the years and with your time and your experience in the industry, how do you feel that this whole equation and people's expectations have changed? And we'll probably start with the retailers first, sort of your first customer. But how has their perception of what the industry, what the manufacturers are offering, has changed? And do you see certain trends forming as to the choices that the retailers make, what they stock in their humidors primarily, or would you say, well, that's a small fraction and probably what you read on Half Wheel or in some of the online publications and the guys that you see on shows like ours, but the bread and butter is still, those 10, 12 core brands, and that's truly where the sweet spot lies.
Yeah, of course, I would allow you. You have retailers who follow those trends, follow news, but at the end of the day, your shop is your reality. Whatever you have in your inventory, whatever you have whatever brands you have in your inventory, will be your story. They're gonna ask you, it will be your choice to tell them why you have those products. And that's one of the reasons that I pick my retailers to be one of the best, because they take advices and they use it, they use the information, and back again, they trust the professionals to do their work. Uh, I believe as well that more clarity you have with the retailers before they came in with a product, more I would say it's more easier to sell a product. Not easy to sell, is to offer them the best experience. It's about experience. Back again, Rene.
Very true. But do you see some major trends forming that,
Yes, the education trend, without a doubt, is there. It's happening now. You see a lot of manufacturers, a lot of brands doing a lot of education. That's key, because after I would say that in 2010, 2005, in 1995, it's totally different ball games that we're living now. You have a lot of more information. You have a not too true information. So you need to give information from your guy, from your retailer, from your local shop, to give them the right information. And that's the trend that I'm seeing now. That you got a lot of loyal clients on the specific local shop because of reason, because they give in the truth of experience.
how do you
And I see
stand
that a lot.
how do you stand out from the quote unquote competition, or I should rather say from your fellows and peers that follow the same rhythm and the same trends though? Because like at what point do you get bored of a certain type of event when you have a rep coming in and then you do a cutting and lighting and you talk about the same the same stuff for 10 minutes and then it's just enjoy yourselves, help yourselves.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. But I try to be different. I try to give in. I try to the whole conversation starts with 5 different points. Is the first point is get to know the guy. Don't push it. Trying to know exactly what he's getting, what he likes,
Mhm.
what time you have. Trying to identify your guy that you're meeting for the first time. Second, did you heard about this before? Uh, the third thing is that you're local, why you always come here because this cigar is being forever here. That you know about this brand. It's kind of like a getting into and then bombarding with a lot of information. What kind of cigars you like? Oh, I like so and so and so. And then okay, well, in my portfolio, I have this, that. Really similar to whatever you like. You tried before? No. Well, today's the best day to try it. And then the number fifth is really important. The fifth point of this is if you don't hold any information about the guy that you just met, you don't have nothing. So it's about the continuity. I have guys that I met 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago that I still in contact with. We have a relationship, and when they smoke a cigar, they send it to me. I say, "What I'm smoking this?" I said, "Oh my God, that's a great cigar." I said, "Oh my," but I look into the shop, and it's been hundreds and hundreds of cigars that they send me to see what I think. So that's a relationship that I create with my consumers.
That's beautiful. Um, we have a question in the chat box from Arif. I don't know, Arif, if you'd like to raise it yourself. I'd be very happy to welcome you on the show. Please chime in, buddy.
Okay, I don't know. I'm unmuted right now?
Perfect. Hi there.
Okay,
Good to
great.
have you,
Hi,
Arif.
hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, I'm not an expert on, what exactly is entailed in the role of a cigar broker. I did study in college what finance brokers do and know that there are, brokers and some are brokers dealers. And I'm wondering, do cigar brokers in the cigar business also maintain their own, stock or inventory that they can also buy and sell from, and then they would disclose to the client, in this case, the cigar retailer, hey, I'm selling this to you as a broker versus as a dealer from my own stocks, or is that something that doesn't happen in the cigar business? Thank you.
Thank you, Ref, for the question. So the cigar broker is always a terminology used for 30 years from now. And we usually are, the right terminology of a cigar broker is a sales independent rep. So we don't hold any inventory. We just represent the brand in sales in different territories. And we also depends on the capacity of the broker. We in my case, I'm going to talk about my case. I offer as well sales representation, to invigorate the relationship between the retailer and the brand, and also education about the products they sell. That's the straightforward answer for that.
I don't know. Can I ask a follow-up question to this?
Of course, please.
Oh, thank you. So basically, a cigar broker is not a middleman trying to find the connection between a cigar retailer saying, hey, can you find me X boxes of X cigar? And the broker goes and finds it and brings it back and sells it to the, to the retailer at a certain, markup or something. It's rather that, hey, I'm a broker for these 5-6 brands, and I kind of go around cigar to cigar retailers and educate them and offer them what these brands have to offer.
Absolutely not. We don't go there and train cigars hard to get or things like that. We are solely work for specific companies that they have in the sales floor they have opening for cigar brokers or cigars independents, sales independents.
No, thank you. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric, for the great questions and for chiming in. Um, we were talking about certain trends that you see, Adrian, and what's interesting about your role is you work with different types of retailers in different parts of the country, different demographics. So you have a very wide and a broad overview of what's happening in the US market. Um, to me, it feels that there's a very interesting dynamic at the moment where the import numbers of cigars into the US are still very, very high and pretty much on par with what we saw last year, a record-breaking year. At the same hand, though, more and more we hear that online, some of the bigger online retailers go heavy on discounts, and some people report that it's a tough grind. Sales don't come easily now. A lot of retailers are a bit more conservative. With your finger on the pulse, where do you think the market is at right now? Um, what what's bubbling? What are we not seeing yet?
I can tell you a couple of points. Right now, you see at the price point that you see nowadays because limitation, different tax laws in different states. You have a really good limitation of people. You have states you cannot sell cigars under $10. You got states they don't have tax, et cetera, et cetera. But I see a breaking point on the $20 cigar right now. Like people are really used to spend 18, 20, $25 cigars easily, but they spend it because they know what they're getting. Doesn't mean as a new brand you're gonna come with a $25 cigars with nothing behind it to support your price. Has to be the process has to be there. The process on the cigar has to be like immaculate to charge $25, $30 per cigar. Uh, Another point that I see is not a tank, but I see a lot of. It's not about economy. It's not about politics. It's about I don't know. Something's going on in this 6 month of the year that people are watching more what they're getting. They buying cigars, but they watching more what they're getting. They're getting more information of what they're getting. In my case, I'm being good in sales, but the market in general is being really careful of what they're spending. Not like before, not like the most recent period was COVID. COVID, it was a great analogy because COVID was everybody was selling everything. And then before COVID, when you go to 2019, the last quarter of 2019, the industry is, I would say, not similar to now, but it was kind of like in the same tank situation. And you had that in 2012 and 2008 and 2000, and then you go back to the whole transition of periods. So when you go back in circle time, the transition of economics on cigars, and we're making cigars. We're making a lot of cigars in Nicaragua. We're making a lot of cigars in Dominican Republic. But you see the transition in it's like a little plateau on business right now.
In your experience and from what you've seen in years past, is that just a natural up and down and certain cycles that we go through repeatedly, come what may, or do you feel that the dynamic is different this time?
I think the dynamic is different this time. I don't, you cannot see a growing in any industry. You cannot see a growing like this all the time. You need to have those up and down because of financial, because of politics, because a lot of cigars. It's a lot of brands. I can't recall how many new brands I saw in the market right now. It's unbearable. So everything, all the above can affect the situation that we are right now.
All happening at a higher level than before, though, right? Because
Yes,
we
without a
cannot
doubt.
forget, even if we take a bit of a hit now, and if the market slows down even further, we're at a much higher level in terms of overall sales compared to what it used to be before the pandemic.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Um, how do you think that the this year's PCA, the trade show being earlier in the year, and the year's calendar for cigars has been rattled a bit through the changes in dates. How do you think that has affected retailers in the US and how they do business, especially since a lot of people they almost think in sales cycles, and we know if you miss one, that's gone, and it's not like you make up for that in the 3 months thereafter.
Those who prepare themselves for the new change are doing good. Those who not prepared to the new change or the new formality of the trade show or the deals or take advantage of break it down to the year, I don't know how they're doing. I trying to before the show, 6 months before the show, I trying to at least my retailer is trying to re-educate them in this. Listen, it's not gonna be in July, and you're gonna receive product in August or September or even October. You're gonna receive product like immediately because the production was there. So I think we have another opportunity on sales this year. Um, I would say two opportunities on sales this year because the show was in March. People are receiving right away and still receiving products, but the summer is here. We have the high peak on sales right now in the summer, and then by September, October, and November, it will be another peak. I'm saying that because I see how people are working right now. But to answer the question, whoever who prepared themselves are doing good. Those that are not prepared themselves, I don't know how they do.
So overall, it feels like you're positive about the change of the date, and it seems that once
I,
everything settles, it could have a very positive impact on the sales cycles overall.
Reinhard, I always see the positive side, even it's not
I
custom.
love that.
I always need to see the positive side because, for example, I'm gonna give you a straight answer. For me, being the show in March, give me the opportunity to do a lot of events now in the summer. Before it was giving the events between September all the way to November to December. So now it give me another opportunity to do two major tours of events in different regions that I cover.
Excellent. Adrian, let's talk a little bit about your the Cigar Culture blend and your own cigars, how that came to life and how it sort of ties in with the other cigars in your portfolio.
The Cigar Culture blend number 3. That was my second, I would say, a project. Um, it was good. I mean, back again, COVID gave me the time to produce that project because of the time. Those tobaccos were inherited to me uh, by a third person in 2015 and 16, and I have those because I was doing the broker business. I was not having a time to produce a cigars, and the main intention to that culture blend number 3 was to give a cigar for my friends and retailers as a gift, not intentionally to have a project to sell.
Mhm.
And it happened in COVID. COVID helped me out because of the time. You have more time. You doing all your business over the phone. You have 3 months without getting out of the house. So it gave me the opportunity to create that. In 2018, I started a project as a prototype blend, and in 2018 finalized it. And then the tobacco was raw, was not even raw. And back in 2020 and 21 on COVID, I was in Pro Cigar in Dominican Republic, and I give a cigar to a guy I don't know somewhere in Europe, and that guy texted me back during the pandemic in March, say, "Man, I tried this cigar. I believe it's from you. This is a great cigar." I said, "Man, how much for per cigar?" And he called me off guard because I don't have a price on the cigar. And then I was like, you know what, it's so and so, and the rest is history. I created a cigar. I launched it with the influencers, with the shop that support me in the US. It was a total success. I sold more than 43,000 cigars.
Bravo. How did you decide on who to work with for that blend in particular? I mean, obviously you're spoiled for choice, with all the great manufacturers that you work with. How challenging was it for you to settle on one and find the right partner for this project?
The tobacco was really special. Number one, the leaves. It was really special. It was gifted, I would say. Uh, it was all tobacco for prototypes. It was all tobacco that we cannot get anymore because it was all tobacco for. It was a minimum stash, and something in me tell me that if I go to a different manufacturer that they don't know how to handle this class of tobaccos, they're not gonna get the result that I was expecting. So I given the tobacco to these old friends in Tabacalera del Puente, the former from another big factory in the R in the war, and that in 2016 they opened their own factory. I'm talking about supervisors, rollers from that factory. They kind of like pay their dues and they work for 20 years in that factory, and they went and opened this factory. But they really savvy to work with this tobacco that I have, and the rest is history, man. They accomplished it. It was really challenging. The worst mistake you can ever tell a manufacturer is right at the bat when they give you a cigar. Oh my God, I love this, and I pushed them to create more blends using the same tobaccos and other tobaccos, not from the stash. And I know from the get go what I'm getting. It was they give me 60 blends, 60, and I picked number three right away. I said, man, this cigar is different. This cigar is I like the cigar back again. Cigars are subjective, not what I like. You need to like it, but I think it was a really good cigar in all the senses. And using it was six different varieties of seeds. It was like four fillers, a binder, and a beautiful wrapper. And it was so magical, man. It was they hit it out of the park. But the most struggling part from 2019 to 2020, it was to them to understand that they need to create. And back again, I think that they appreciate my push to push them to think outside of the box and say, you know what, this is what the U.S. market is consuming right now, in a medium to full sensation, and they hit it. They hit it good. Estaba caer el puente.
What do you foresee the future for the cigar culture blend to be? Are you working on follow-ups? Is it something that you would like to expand or continue to evolve?
Without a doubt, the culture blend number three. I have a lot of interviews with a lot of people, a lot of folks in the industry, and they ask me like, "What's next?" Because when it's gone, it's gone. You don't have anything else. I said, "You totally right. I don't know." And the reason that I came up with different collabs with different manufacturers was to remember those tobacco was from 2015 and 16 to get the same, not exactly, but about 95%, 98% of the same cigar. You need to have the same process. There's the same tobaccos with the same aging. And it was so good. And in 2021, I launched a cigar to entertain the crowd on the cigar culture, and I created a cigar with Blackbird. That was the Hawk, and the Hawk was it was a really good cigar with my signature, with this signature. It was great. Then in 2022, it was already in the works project with Henderson Ventura, with a Ventura cigar with the Chancellor. But that project was delayed because of the fire in the factory.
Mhm.
They suffer. It was delayed, and I have the opportunity to do another cigar with the cigar culture. But I said, you know what, this must be really special. So I hold up, and 2 years later, this year, we launched it in PCA, and that was the Chancellor. So to finish the question, yeah, the cigar culture blend number three will be released in later 2025.
Very interesting. Beautiful. Um, Adrian, I know that you're busy and you have people around you at the lounge,
No, no, no.
all of whom maybe want a little part of Adrian, but I'm so much enjoying learning from your firsthand experience with the retailers, also with the end consumers. Um, Now, some of your own stuff and some of the collaborations under the cigar culture umbrella. Um, you spoke a little bit about sort of the plans for the cigars. What about the cigar culture in general, though? What are some of the things that you're working on and that you would like to to bring under that umbrella and under that movement of the cigar culture? What is some of the stuff that you have cooking and that we can look forward to?
Oh man, you're killing me. But no, I'm gonna give it to you. So yeah, the culture blend number three, it will we be almost the same ratios on the cigar. Cigars are being processed. We're gonna start blending in this year in November to release it in later 2025. Other projects that I have is using my dad's seeds tobacco that he created all the hybrids in DR and some experiment in Nicaragua and Ecuador. I trying to bring something different into your cigar. To say that I'm gonna become a brand, that's a false thing. I just want to give you when I launch a cigar, I'm trying to give you a really good month, 2 months of these cigars, and continue with your regular stuff. But I trying to give you a great experience, a great cigars, great story with the cigar as well. So what I'm trying to achieve is give you a great experience and trying to honor the people behind us through the years on different families who create these beautiful cigars. The demand on cigars are really high, uh, but when you launch something different, you mark a staple and you be remembered as that.
So you provided me the perfect transition and the segue to one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, bringing us full circle to where we started. And you spoke about your father's work and how you got introduced to tobacco in the first place. Now, with everything that you have gone through, everything that you have experienced, being part of the industry, how has that changed your perspective on your father's work, your roots, and how you initially explored tobacco and cigars?
Can you rephrase the question?
Looking back,
Right.
when your first experiences with tobacco and cigars through your father, through your father's work, beginning you not being so sure about entering the industry, and now you have all this experience, years being a broker, coming out with collaboration cigars, building the cigar culture. Has that changed how, in retrospect, you look at how you learned about cigars and tobacco through your father and sort of your early memories of tobacco and cigars with your father?
Yes and no. I think that my father gave me great roots of to respect tobacco, to respect the craftsmanship. Uh, but one of the best things that he gave me was passion. I never met somebody so much passion about the leaf about from this guy. This guy is is absolutely great. I wish I can know 10% whatever he knows about hybrid cigar seeds. Uh, but my forte is sales and is to continue promoting the great information about cigars to the retailers and consumers. I think that's my best inherit. That I can give to everybody. Old time folk from the industry tell me that if you don't share what you know, you don't leave any legacy. So I try to give. I'm really devoted about the quote because if you don't share, it's true. If you don't share what you know, you're never gonna leave any legacy in this world, in this industry per se. So I just trying to be. Just trying to be reminded of like a guy who stand up of on his business and but to give you the right information.
Amen. Well, Adrian, I certainly feel like you're building the foundation for that wonderful legacy, and you're sharing so much about cigar industry, the behind the scenes of what makes cigars special, and that's truly the connection, community, and the camaraderie, and building that bridge, between the product itself, getting your fingers sturdy in the earth, and where tobacco comes from, and then ultimately, of course, all of us are lovers are, and we enjoy that. And to build those bridges is not only extremely important, but this is beautiful and very much appreciated. And I think that, we should shed more light on people like yourself working relentlessly so hard, traveling, very long distances, spending a lot of time in airports, in the car, driving around, visiting all those people, making sure that behind the scenes, the industry is not only functional but thriving. So it's been really a privilege and a pleasure to learn more about what you do as a broker. And yeah, take a few nuggets and best practices from that. So thank you very much from heart. It's great.
No, for me, it's an honor to be here and light them up with you. We've been working for if everybody know about the how time we were working in this live, you would be surprised. Finally, we're getting in, and for me, it's a pleasure. For me, it's an honor to be here with you guys. For the rest of the people that are gonna watch it later, my big hugs to them. Please reach out. I'm really accessible. If you want to know anything, just let me know. I'm here for you guys.
I have one favor to ask you, Adrian, and maybe you can help me with that. Do you think your father would join us at some point and talk about his experience with
Man, you need
and his
you
work
need
in
weeks. You need weeks to talk about. This guy has so much stories and so much knowledge.
bring it on. We want to take a deep dive, but it would be really an honor to welcome him to the show, maybe together with you, and to learn about his experience, because I think that's a phenomenal and a phenomenal insight for all of our viewers to learn more about that. And not very often that we have the opportunity to learn from people.
Yeah, his English is not very good looking. But if
Neither is
you
mine, so don't worry about that.
if you formulate the questions and give it to him, pretty sure he was answering. He's become really good in English.
Beautiful. We'll work on that. But most importantly, Adrian, it was such a pleasure to have you at the Light 'em Up Lounge. Thank you very much for joining
My
us.
pleasure.
Continued success with everything that you do. We won't hold you any longer from all your wonderful work and your obligations at the lounge. Send our regards to the whole team there, and we'll see each other very soon, hopefully, and we'll share and enjoy difficult words. We'll share a cigar together soon, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Adrian, it was lovely having you. Everybody, thanks for joining us today. We wish you a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I know a lot of folks are busy. Albert is in the air traveling back from Austria to the UK. A lot of folks are busy with the Euro Cup, but I really appreciate all of you joining us and spending your precious Wednesday with us. Have a great rest of your week. See you all next week, same time, same station, here at the Light 'em Up Lounge.
Light him up.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.